Good morning,
Good
beta.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, children.
मैम बुक का नेम क्या है?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
गुड
Beta,
मॉर्निंग मैम.
Summer, you're in class 4th C.
यस मैम.
Beta, this is class 4th A now.
अभी
Go
ए
and
है.
yes. Now at 10:30, your period has changed. Go and see in 4th C whose link it is and join that
Okay.
link.
I am also from 4th C. Smith.
Ma'am, it is 4th E class.
Why, children? 4th C, children, you don't have your timetable?
ये फोर्थ है.
Let me tell you which period it is in your class.
Good morning, ma'am.
This is Shalini ma'am's period in your class. Computer period. Go and join your class now. All 4th C students leave this class and go and join Shalini ma'am's link.
Ma'am, it is 4th A.
Yes, I am taking 4th A. 4th C students, please leave from here. This is not your SST class. This is your computer class. Okay, Summer, leave the meeting. You know how to leave this meeting? बेटा समर,
यस मैम.
आपको मीटिंग लीव करनी आती है?
नो मैम.
क्लिक करो अपनी स्क्रीन पे क्लिक करो और वहां देखो एक वो आ रहा होगा लीव का, रेड कलर से आ रहा
लीव
होगा.
का.
यस,
मैम लीव का. ओके ऑन कर दिया.
ओके ना, गुड. All right, any other student from 4th C is here? Okay, so 4th A. Now this is your SST class, right? What did we do last?
ma'am.
What did we do
Yes,
last
ma'am.
in the last class?
We read the chapter.
We were reading the chapter. Till where have we reached? Till which paragraph have we read the chapter? Where are we? Yes?
Ma'am, we have read it till archaeological sources. Archaeological sources.
Archaeological sources.
Archaeological sources.
Okay. Now next, who is going to read?
Ma'am, I Arslan.
Yes, read.
Okay, ma'am. Archaeological logic is the study of Asian remains like movement, buildings, coins, tools, painting, and archaeologists work at street is to recover objects which may have been laying during
Which may have been buried.
buried
Which
in
may
the
have been
ground
lying buried in the ground for a long time.
for a long time are called movements. Ancient buildings such as palaces, forests, temples, and palaces built by humans are called
Are called monuments. They are called monuments. Then
give us information about the society.
they give
Ma'am,
us
what is
information
about the SOCIETY.
what beta, where are you reading? Okay, they give us information about the society and the people of the
Society
past.
and people of the past are called the Taj Mahal is one such
Monument.
monument which is visited by tourists from all over the world. The Red Fort, Sachi Stupa, uh, Pillar, Ashoka Pillar, Jama Masjid, and the Qutub Minar are some other important monuments. Coins provide.
Okay, that's all, that's it beta, that's it.
Okay, ma'am.
Which page number? One of you please tell the page number, because I too don't know the page number.
Ma'am, 10 page number. Ma'am, 10
Ma'am, page
number.
number 10.
It's page number 10. Then when we talk about, I made you write archaeological sources and literary sources yesterday. I made you write in the copy? No? Okay, all of you take out your SST copies. First, we are going to write it.
Ma'am, I have take out.
Very nice.
Ma'am, I have taken out.
Ma'am, on new page.
No, from the same page where you ended. If there is space left, then start from there only. Only that you have to put today's date. Okay?
Ma'am, I have not space on there.
Now write down two sources of
Ma'am,
yes.
we have read yesterday.
Ma'am, we have
read this yesterday.
So beta, that
Ma'am,
is
we
what I'm
have
asking. Did I make you write? You people said no. Why did you say no?
Ma'am, I don't write yesterday one.
Yes, we have already written it. So now when we read about the archaeological sources, we have monuments under the archaeological category. Let's say archaeological sources. Archaeological source. First is the monuments. Now what are monuments? Buildings made by humans. Ancient buildings. Okay, let's call it the ancient buildings that are built by humans are called monuments. Now these monuments are of great historical importance. Why? Because we get to learn a lot about our history through these monuments. Isn't it? Now you can get a question. Name any 3 historical monuments of India. So will you be able to name them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, name them. Tell me any 3 names.
Ma'am, tools, coins.
Ma'am, the Red Fort, Sanchi Sutta, Ashoka Pillar.
Yes.
Red Fort, Sachi Stupa.
Yes, very nice. When I'm asking you the names of monuments, you don't have to say tools and coins, beta. Tools and coins are archaeological sources. I'm asking you the names of any 3 monuments of India. Very nice. And what are monuments? Monuments are the ancient buildings built by humans. What are monuments?
The Asian buildings built
The
by
ancient,
humans.
the ancient buildings made by humans.
Very
Asian
nice.
buildings
Such
built by
as,
humans.
now these ancient buildings can be, for example, they can be
The
forts.
Taj Mahal.
No, they
Red
can be
Fort,
forts, they can
The
be
Red Fort, Taj
palaces.
Mahal.
Red
Sachi
Fort.
Stupa, Jama Masjid.
Beta, these are the names. These are the names of the monuments. These ancient buildings can be in form of forts, temples, pillars, palaces. Okay? These are the examples of ancient buildings. They can be in any form. Then next, after monuments, we come on to coins. Now, coins also hold great importance while telling us about our past. So what all do we come to know through coins? Let us read. Aradhya Singh will read.
Okay, ma'am. Coins. Coins provide important information about the past by studying a coin. One gets to know the name of the ruler, the name of the place, the metal available in that place, the date when it was issued, and the language used in that region. The study of coins is known as numismatics. Inscriptions are important messages
That's all, beta.
engraved
That's all.
upon.
That's all. Now, what do you? Just a moment. Coins provide important information about the past. What all does a coin tell us? It tells us about the name of the ruler, the place, the metal that was used at that time, and even the language used in that particular region. So a small coin shares or tells so much about our history. Then next, okay, what is numismatics?
The study of coins.
Very nice. The study of coins is called numismatics. Now, inscriptions. What are inscriptions? Let us read. Yes, Vedanshu.
Inscriptions are important messages engraved by rulers on pillars, copper plates, rocks, clay tablets, and on the wall of temples and buildings. For example, Ashoka's inscriptions on rocks and pillars describe his
Achievements.
achievements, his messages, and his religious beliefs.
Religious beliefs. Okay. So here with inscriptions. Now, what are inscriptions? They are engraved messages. What is engraved message? Like we write with a sharp thing on a hard surface. So if I scratch and write on a wall, that will become what? An engraved message. Okay? Engraved writing. It will be in engraved form. So these messages were engraved on rocks, pillars, walls of temples. Why? Because till then the invention of paper was not done. So people used to engrave whatever they used to feel. They used to write on the walls. So these engraved messages. Now, one such example is the Ashoka's inscriptions on rocks and pillars. And what were Ashoka's inscriptions about? They were about his religious beliefs. He was a very religious person. So, in the messages, in those writings, we got to know about Ashoka's nature. Like he was a very religious person. He had good religious beliefs. So with those inscription, with those engraved messages, the historians came out with this thing. Then next who will read? Manya will read. Oral sources.
Oral sources of our past. In the ancient time, people do not know any languages. They draw pictures of that what they say
They
around
saw,
them.
they saw around them. What they saw around them, they used to make pictures. They did not have any language. They did not know any language to communicate. So suppose they used to see anything happening around, they would start to draw that. Then next,
As they learn the
as they
communicate communicate
as they learn
and
to
share ideas through sing languages
science,
development
through science,
through
different types of science, like science using their hands and all. Okay.
information was passed by word of mouth. These are effects of also oral sources of information. Few examples are for
Folklore,
folklore, stories, sing, and poems.
songs and poems. So when there was no language introduced, they used to do it with signs, or they used to draw anything around them. So these are referred to as oral sources of information, where they could pass their information by showing signs to each other and all. And they used to depict it or show it through stories, through songs, through poems, and through folklore by enacting. Okay. Next, then we have next painting and sculptures. Kunal Patel will read.
Paintings and sculpture. Painting and sculptures form an important source for study of our past. One learns about the obesity, races, and lifestyle of the people at that time. The cave paintings of Bill
Bhimbetka,
Ambedkar depend the life of early humans.
okay. So paintings and sculptures. You know what a painting is. How many of you know what is a sculpture? What is a sculpture? Can anybody tell me in Hindi? Yes, Aradhya?
Ma'am, sculpture means like a
In Hindi also you can
like ma'am, sculpture means like murti.
Yes. It can be a statue kind of a thing, murti, idols. So paintings, we all know, paintings and sculptures form, they are also an important source of history. Through those sculptures and paintings, we come to know about the dresses and the lifestyle of the people of that period. And the cave paintings of Bhimbetka depict or show or tell us. What does depict mean? Depict means to show or to tell. So the cave paintings of Bhimbetka show us the life of early humans, how humans used to lead their lives. Then next, artifacts. What are artifacts? Let's read. Who will read? I can see so many children sitting with their cameras off. Why is that so? All of you open your camera. Yes. Only one person has turned on the camera. Rest, What about you, Arjun, Siddharth, Adya, Unsha, Akshaj? Now it's Akshad's turn to read. Akshad, start reading.
Ma'am, I join now.
You have the book with yourself?
Yes, ma'am, but I join now. So which
No problem, I will tell you from where to read. We are on the archaeological sources, chapter number 1. What is the page number, Kunal?
Okay, ma'am, I get it. Archaeological.
No, beta, you have to read from artifacts. In archaeological sources, see, we have so many things now: coins, inscription, paintings, sculptures. Then we have artifacts. Read from here. Yes, bottom, artifacts.
Ma'am, from where?
Kunal, tell beta page number.
Ma'am, artifacts including ornaments, tools, pottery, or other objects made by human beings are an important source of information about the time period to which it belongs. Fossils. Fossils is the remain of a plant and animal usually found in rock are also another source of history. Archaeologists use shovels and other tools to excavate fossils.
Very nice. Very good. Okay, be quiet. Now, what are artifacts? Artifacts are the objects of historical importance. These objects, the objects that hold importance in our history, are called artifacts. So these artifacts can be tools, can be ornaments, or it can be anything like pottery and other objects which tell us about our past. Then after that we have fossils. Now what are fossils? Fossils are the remains of plants, animals, or humans. They are the remains that are buried under the ground. So what do archaeologists do? Archaeologists use shovels and tools to excavate, to dig out these fossils. And then they do a complete study on them to let us know about the past. So here with this, till fossils, we come to an end of the archaeological sources.
Ma'am, can you explain me coins and inscription? Because
Coins and, okay. See beta, coins is also something very important that tell us about our history. By seeing a coin, such a small coin, what information does coin share with us? Coin used to tell us the metal used at that time, the name of the ruler, because the picture of the ruler was made on the coin, then the language that was used in that particular region, and so on, in which period to which period the coin belonged. So these all things were known by just a coin. That is why coins are a very important source of information. Then after that we have what? Inscriptions. Okay, inscriptions are the engraved messages. Now Akshas, what is engraved message? Engraved is something like with a sharp thing you try to write on a hard surface. So what will happen? If I try to write with a compass on this wall or on this board, what will happen? Scratches will be made, no? The wall will come out a little and there will be something written with in engraved form. So people used to write on the walls, pillars, plates, copper plates, tablets through these are called inscriptions, the engraved messages. So these inscriptions also share a lot about our historical importance. Like for example, Ashoka's inscriptions. Now King Ashoka's inscriptions were on the rocks and the pillars, and they used to tell us about the religious beliefs of that king. He was very religious by nature. So how do we all know this? Have we met him? No, because it was through the walls. It was through his messages that were engraved on the wall that historians came to know he was very religious by his nature. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then next. Now we have to start from the literary sources. Who is going to read literary sources? Aradhya
Ma'am.
Singh? Yes. Aradhya Singh, start reading from literary sources.
Yes, ma'am. Literary sources are the written records, accounts, fiction, and non-fiction writings found by historians. Before the invention of paper, humans wrote on palm leaf or the bark of rich trees, which were called manuscripts. These important records of the past tell us about the lives of the people and their kings, their laws and religious beliefs and practices. Literature of the past.
Beta, stop. Now see, when we come to the literary sources, I told you before also, all the written records, all the written messages come under literary sources. So these literary sources are of two types. No, that will come on to later. These literary sources, they are what? They are about, they were before the invention of paper. They were written on various things like palm leaves or on the bark of the birch trees. And these literary sources or these written messages are also called as what? Manuscripts. Then they tell us about the lives of the people, the kings, and the laws and beliefs and practices they used to do. So through these messages, written message, whether it used to be on the bark of a tree or on palm leaves, we come to know so much about it. Yes, Ansh Patel. Ansh Patel.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now it's your turn. Start reading from the next para.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Hurry up, beta.
गुप्ता से ज्यादा नहीं वो कोई कर पाए
Beta, you
Ma'am,
don't know
from
where.
where? Ma'am, from where?
Literary sources, second paragraph.
Okay, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Who is
In
this
Christian
saying good
church.
morning? Wait, who is this saying good morning? Anshrat Singh. Yes, Anshrat.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good morning, beta. What happened? You're joining the class right now?
Ma'am, can I tell?
Ansh, beta, what was the time of this class? It started at 10:30 and you're joining 30 minutes late, huh? Yes, start reading, Ansh.
Sorry, ma'am.
Literature of the past were of two kinds, religious and non-religious. Literary sources contain stories about gods and goddesses and prayer songs. Some religious sources are Vedas, the Puranas, and the great epics Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Okay, stop. So literature. Now when we talk about literature, it used to be of two types. One religious, which spoke about or which told about the gods and the goddesses and the prayer songs. And the other used to be of, we haven't come to other. So it used to tell us about the gods and goddesses. Now some religious sources. I told you, I made you write yesterday the literary sources. So some of the religious sources are Vedas, Purans, and great epics. Then next, the non-religious.
Then-
Ansh, beta, you can continue.
The non-religious texts talk about the society, culture, people, and rulers of the time. This could be an autobiography by the ruler himself, or a biography written by other people on the life story of a ruler. The Arthashastra is an example of non-religious literature.
Okay. So when we talk about the literature, we read about the religious. Now what are non-religious literature? The non-religious literature is autobiographies and biographies. What is an autobiography? Autobiography is a written record, or you can say it is a book written on oneself. The rulers, what they used to do, they used to write their life stories, the story of their own lives in a book. That used to be called as an autobiography, written on oneself. And people also used to write on other rulers. So this life story of other rulers written on other kings or other people is called biography. So these are what in nature? These are non-religious in nature. They tell us about the life of a king or a ruler, like what his achievements were, or where he was not succeeded, where he failed, where he was defeated, in which wars and all, what battles he had fought. So this is all included in the non-religious literature. Then accounts by foreigners. Yes, Ansh Patel, just finish it, beta.
Accounts by foreigners such as Hind Singh, Fai Hind, and Megasthenes left very interesting descriptions of their experience in India. These accounts tell us not only about the rulers but also about the lifestyle of the common people.
Okay, so there were many foreigners who visited India. Foreigners like Megasthenes and Fahin, Hyun Sang. So what they used to do, what they did, they had written their experience in our country. When they came to, of course, it was some other country for them. So when they visited some other country, they wrote down how their experience was. And their writing, their records also included a little about the life of rulers, and they also included the life of common people, how people used to lead their lives here in India. So we all come to know this through these written records. Then preserving sources of history. Vedanshu Prakash, beta, last paragraph on you. Read out the whole para.
It is very important to take care of historical monuments and remaining by looking after them and not damaging for spoiling them. Artifacts of historical importance and preserved of museums and are well protected. Historians and archaeologists work very hard to find out about the past. They both work hand in hand to help us learn about the past. Archaeologists excavate sites and by digging for buried remains, and historians imagine these remains and write books. Imagine these remains and write books about what they have learned.
Okay, it's examine, not imagine. Okay, now what you will do is, in the end, they are telling us that how important it is to protect or to preserve the sources of history. If these sources of history would not be preserved, how would we come to know about our past? So how do we know it? Through these sources only. So it is very important to keep them safe, keep them protected, and we should not damage or spoil them. Then,
like in museum.
yes, Okay, next.
Ma'am, we see ancient things in museum.
Yes, very good. Now the last paragraph, historians and archaeologists. Everybody underline the last paragraph because it tells us about the similarity between a historian and an archaeologist and also the difference between the two. I will read it out once again. All of you listen to it very carefully. Historians and archaeologists work very hard to find about their past. They both work hand in hand to help us learn about the past. So what is the similarity between the both? They both help us to learn about our past. Then the next, archaeologists excavate sites by digging for buried remains. What do archaeologists do? They excavate. What is excavate? The process of digging the buried things. So they excavate and historians examine. The historians examine those things that are taken out by the archaeologists. And then finally they present or they collect information. And that is how we know so much about our past. Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
here, till here now with it,
Yes, ma'am.
we come to
Yes,
the end. We come to the end of this chapter. Now tomorrow what we are going to do? We are going to do the question answers of exercises and the question answers of this chapter. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Tomorrow is a holiday.
Okay,
Day
ma'am.
after tomorrow will also be a holiday. So we'll meet on Friday. The first period is with you. Okay? Friday first period is SST. All right. See you then,
tomorrow-
children.
Bye, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
After-
Bye, ma'am.
Bye,
Yes.
ma'am.
After, yes, Akshat?
Ma'am, after this day, there will be holiday after this day.
After, yes, today, then you have 2 days holiday, beta. Tomorrow is Ambedkar Jayanti. And day after tomorrow is election holiday. So 2 days, the school is going to be off.
Thank
Clear?
you, ma'am, for that.
Okay, ma'am.
Bye now. Bye to all of you.
Bye, ma'am.
Okay.
Bye, ma'am.